Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Monday as you are listening to the show today. It is not Monday as I am recording it. It is a Thursday afternoon. I bypassed a rainstorm on the way to where I am sitting, pre-recording my conversation. I am at the farm at Clover Hill off of Rockland Road. Susie Hewson is here with me. She is the grand dame of the castle here, the property here. It is gorgeous out here, Susie.
Thank you. We're very proud of what we've been able to accomplish out here.
Now, you guys have been here for quite some time, but it didn't look like this when you landed on this property.
No, we bought the property about 8 years ago. If you looked on Google Maps, you could not even see that there was a house, a barn, a pond. You couldn't see any of that because it had just been overgrown. No one had lived here for 23 years, and it had just gotten out of control. A few years ago, a farmer had started kind of cleaning up the hay fields and putting a few cattle on the property, and that helped a little, but he didn't do anything around the house or otherwise on the property.
So what makes an otherwise normal couple decide this is a project you want to take on?
Well, we were nearing retirement age. We had worked for the government for over 30 years, both my husband and myself. And my husband kept saying, I don't know if I can retire. I need something to do. And he kept ringing me. I mean, this property was for sale for 8 years. He brought me over here 3 times over that 8-year period saying, we should buy this. We should buy this. And I grew up on a farm. I knew what farm life was like. He grew up in the city. He had no clue, but he really was just intrigued with the whole farm magic.
So if the property was that overgrown, what on earth must the house have looked like?
The house, for the most part, was pretty dank, dark, smelly, a lot of animal tracks. The roof was in need of repair. The stone all had to be retucked. The floors, we had to take some of the floors out down to the ground because this is a log home. When we started looking into the deeds to this property, we found that the first mention of the farm on Clover Hill was dated 1781.
Wow.
So the back part of this house, this 2-story log home located on Clover Hill, was what we first saw. And then as we would work our way back forward, we found that another section of the house, the federal style, was added in 1820. And then the Queen Anne side was added in between 1850 and 1890. We couldn't really pin down exactly when that was added. But I had a historical architect walk through the house with me, and she pointed out different things of how it was built, and that's how we kind of came to those dates.
Talk about a hot mess of history, but I understand that's one of the things that drew your husband to it to begin with.
He loves history. He was a history grad and figured out he couldn't really make very much money with a history degree, so he went back and got his mechanical engineering degree. And so that is why he is able to redo this whole house. I mean, we started at the top and worked our way down.
Now, you didn't live in it while you were renovating it, did you?
No. We actually owned another property not far from here, and it was our first retirement home. It was the
starter retirement.
It was our starter retirement home. It wasn't quite big enough for all of his tools and machinery and what I wanted as a retirement home, and so we bought it just to get our foot out here. And then as we lived there on the weekends, as we were working on this house, we were still working. We found another location and that's beautiful and perfect for his needs and meets my needs. So we moved from this little house over to this little bit bigger house. And then he decided he couldn't retire until he had something to do. And so we bought this farm, and the local farmer who actually still takes care of the hay fields and runs some of his cattle on the property said, well, you don't have to worry because you're going to have something to do every day for the rest of your life. And he's fine with that.
And how long did it take you to get the house to where it is now? Or is it even done? Or is he still finding little projects and little things he wants to do?
Well, the house is pretty much done. It took us 3.5 years before we opened it as an Airbnb. There are still things on the property that we need to do. There's an old windmill we'd like to freshen up. The old ice house was about to fall in, so we took it down to the floor level and have rebuilt it back up. And I hope to use that as kind of a place for if people want to have a wedding or a family reunion. It's someplace they could put their food and still be able to walk outside and eventually go to a fire pit and enjoy the back of the property where the cows roam.
Nice.
Yeah. We still have another building that we haven't really touched yet. The previous owner was a lovely fellow, but he was a bit of a hoarder, and so we're still
finding things.
It took us quite a while. It took us probably the first year of cleaning, going from building to building and cleaning out, and this last building we just haven't gotten to yet.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Now, did you find cool historical stuff
the
house?
We did. There was a doctor that lived here at one time in Clover Hill. His name was Dr. Law, and we found his medical books from Virginia Tech. We found his accounting system, which was very cool, and his daughter, we understood from some of the things we've read, was a school teacher, so we have a lot of the Latin books and arithmetic and reading and those kind of things which we put on display in the house for the guests to kind of look at.
I think it is just phenomenal. Now, it's an Airbnb, so you're not living here. You've got the other dream retirement pseudo house.
I do, which backs up to the farm. So we just put a gate between it so we can come from our property onto the farm property. Actually, our property used to be part of the farm. It was a subdivision that was cut off a few years ago and made into a little subdivision. So
oh my goodness.
It backs up to this property.
So how many times in this whole process did your husband say, you know what, maybe you were right, this was too much of a project, and how many times did you have to say, I told you, this was not going to be a good idea?
Let me step back here for a minute. When we walked into that house, everything was brown. Brown paneling, brown floors, brown, everything was brown. And it took until we scrubbed it clean a couple of times and started to put paint on the walls that I was like, okay, I think this could work.
Now I see the vision.
I see the vision. He saw it all along, but it took me a little longer to jump on board. And he was doing most of the pre-work. I mean, he had to put in a sewer system. He had to put in all the plumbing, redo the electricity in the house. He did a lot. He really did a lot to this house. And if you ever go on Airbnb and read our reviews, you'll find that people absolutely love that house. I haven't had a bad review yet, knock on wood, because I try really hard to keep it a clean, safe place. We give them a lot of amenities so that they don't have to bring everything and their toothbrush to come and stay here. So we've had very good luck with our renters.
Was it even a bigger project than he anticipated?
I think so.
You think he'd ever admit that to you? Does
sometimes.
he talk in his sleep? Could you ask him in his sleep and then record it?
No, he snores a lot, but doesn't talk in his sleep. But at times, when you're exhausted, you have a different. It's like, oh, geez, what have we gotten ourselves into? I know I've said that a couple of times, and he's said it since we've started the flower farm. He goes, "What are we doing?" But that's when we were having to put in the irrigation system and rigging up a deer fence so the deer wouldn't eat all of our tulips and all of our other flowers. And
wow.
But he's been a trooper. He has been there with us the whole way.
Now, I understand part of his dream, aside from the house and the property, was growing hops.
Yes.
So let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk about the garden end of the farm at Clover Hill, the hops, the flowers, how all that came to be. Can we do that in the next segment?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation. We are pre-recording at the farm at Clover Hill. It is located at 4022 Rockland Road in Warren County. I am chatting chatting with Susie Hewson. She is one of the owners here. We're going to talk more with her when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
Got a financial decision to make or a goal to reach, but you don't know where to start? You've come to the right place. Introducing Quick Money Chats with the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program. Visit tinyurl.com/quickmoneychat to schedule a virtual chat with a staff member or trained volunteer. We won't tell you what to do, but we will give you the tools you need to choose wisely. And because Virginia Cooperative Extension is part of Virginia Tech and Virginia State, your land-grant universities, you can be sure that our information is credible and trustworthy. And you'll know that we aren't trying to sell you something. Maybe you want to improve your credit score, or reduce your banking overdraft fees, or even figure out if you can afford to buy that car. Sorting through tons of information on the internet can be overwhelming, and sometimes it can be hard to know who to trust. Schedule a Quick Money Chat and get the information you need to take action. Go to tinyurl.com/quickmoneychat and get financial education personalized for you.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Monday. As you are listening to the show today, we have pre-recorded our conversation, and I totally forgot, Susie, at the top of the show. Every month I'm trying to do a Meet the Maker. So I've interviewed potters, and I've talked to painters, and I've talked to all these different people that are artists in some way. And I reached out to you because I wanted you to be part of this Meet the Maker series, because it's a very unique way that you are making somebody smile. Yeah. So you are still the maker here at the farm at Clover Hill.
We are, and my husband actually is a maker. He's been making welded pieces. He's made a bug or two for me, and little flowers and out of metal, and he welds them all together. He'll walk in the door and say, "Here, I made this for you." So I have a few of them in the shop that he's okay with me selling, although I don't know that I can give up a couple of them.
Yeah, some of them just so kind sweet. Of, yes, so especially sweet. The first one, when it's like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
So in the first segment, we talked about the property itself. We talked about the house and the renovation and how now it is beautiful as an Airbnb. So let's move across the driveway, so to speak, because I know that one of the other things your husband had in mind was growing hops when he put his eyes on this property, and you are growing hops.
We are growing hops. We have 600-foot rows of Cascade, and we also have 100-foot row of Chinook. We used to have 4 rows of Chinook, but I've taken 3 of those rows over and turned them into flower beds. And we've added another flower bed just down the hill. So yeah, I'm encroaching on his hops.
So the hops came first and then the blooms.
That's right. We found that hops, we had hoped that we would be able to sell to local breweries, but most microbreweries want pelletized hops. And our field just isn't big enough to make it economical for us to pelletize them and go out and sell them. So they are available. We are going to try to sell them this year just to home brewers. We've put a little teaser out on Facebook that they'll be coming pretty soon. By the end of July to mid-August, they'll be ready to pick. So if anybody's interested, come on out and take a look.
But your husband gets first dibs.
Yes, always.
So how did the flower part of it come after the hops were settled?
Well, as part of the Airbnb, we also got a user permit so that we could hold events on the property. And we've had a few weddings, and one of those weddings was to a young woman, and her mother came with her to view the land, and we got to talking and have kind of developed a friendship. And she said, flowers are a big thing. You could grow some flowers out here. And I said, well, no, Amy. Her name's Amy Davison. She's actually our partner in this process. I said, I can't, but you might be able to. And so we worked out a partnership, and she does. She does all the growing for us. I help her pick. Sometimes she'll say, well, we need this, and this kind of variety. She goes, what colors do you like? What do you think we should do? And so we do make joint decisions on what we order and what she plants, but she is a genius. She's got a green thumb. Let's just say she has a very green thumb, and I do not.
I found you. I was telling you when we were chatting during the break, I found you because a friend of mine commented on one of your Facebook posts when the tulips were in bloom.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my gosh, that is a genius idea because I've never had luck with tulips.
Yeah.
Never have I had luck with tulips.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier to just come here
Yeah.
and buy them.
Well, we do no-till. So when we pulled up the hops out of those 3 beds, we laid down cardboard, then we put our compost on top, then we put the bulbs in, and actually we had a little class for young kids, and they came out and they helped us plant those 4,500 tulips. And that was great because we made a little money with the class and we got a lot of work done at the same time.
A little free labor, yeah.
And the kids loved it because they're big and chunky, those tulip bulbs are, and they could handle them, and they were just so excited. It's the experience, I think, is what people like when they come out here.
Well, I was joking with you before. We were talking about how both of us were never really the kind of person that would go into a flower shop and necessarily buy a bouquet or even pick them up at the grocery store.
Right.
To me, I always used to yell at my husband that they're going to die. That was especially on Valentine's Day when they're so crazy expensive. But sitting here, I'm totally taking a bunch home because they just make me happy to look at them.
That's what we're finding during tulip season, and this was the first time we'd really opened our doors. And we were both like, okay, what's this going to be like? But people would come, they'd say, we're here for tulips. And I'd give them some plastic gloves, and I'd say, okay, go on down to the fields and you dig up the bulb and you can take it with you. And if you're lucky, you could plant that bulb and it'll come up. It may not bloom next year, it may not bloom the following year, but eventually, hopefully it'll come up. The stems won't be as long. We buy special bulbs so that we get a really long stem.
See, and I didn't even realize the bulb came with it. When I saw that post, I assumed you were just cutting the stems and that's what people were taking.
No.
Oh, I'm totally coming back next spring for bulbs.
It was so fun because the folks would come in and they just looked at me like, you mean I got to go dig them? And when they would come back, they were so excited. They would have smiles on their faces and these big buckets full of tulips, and wow, we're coming back. And okay, come on back. We'd love to have you.
And right now it's sunflowers.
Right now we have a lot of different flowers. Sunflowers are a big one. We did a lot of what they call cool, hardy annuals. So Amy would start the seeds in her basement in February. By the end of March, she was planting them into the ground. And then we had, after the daffodils and the tulips, we had a little bit of a break there until the weather started warming up a little, and now in the end of May and through June, we've had all kinds of flowers down there. Snapdragons, Sweet William, we've got the Rebecchias, the Shasta daisies, the Forget-Me-Nots.
I see zinnias that look like they're almost ready.
Now, just today, we picked our first zinnias. They're not long enough for florists yet, which we do sell to. We do sell to 3 different florists in the area.
Nice.
Yeah, but we do have sunflowers. We have a lot of variety of sunflowers. And then we also have pincushion flowers and statice. We're trying basil to see whether that would be a good filler. We're trying a lot of different things this year just to see what's going to work for us, and then we can refine our gardens next year.
And so I have the option of coming in and saying, you know what, I just need a Zen, I'm going to go cut my own. Or I can come in like I'm doing right now in the cooler part of the market and say, I want 5 of those, 3 of those, 6 of these, and dance my way back to the car to take them home and put them in a vase.
Exactly. So we have what we call a U-pick. That's where you come in. You come up to my market building. You'll see it when you come onto the property. I give you a bucket. I give you some clippers. You walk down into the gardens. Amy will probably be down there. So she will tell you all about them. She will show you how to clip them. And she may even watch you for a minute to make sure you're doing it right. She's a lot of fun, and she is great with kids. I will let you know that. She gives them quite an education. She's a homeschooling mom. Her last child has gone off to college, and so this was a good filler for her.
She has some place to put that patience.
That's right. That's right. And then people come back up, and then the kids tell me all about what they learned down there and as they check out and get in their cars and take off. Or now we're offering a bouquet bar, and what that means is that we cut enough flowers, extra flowers, that I have some here in the market building, which is air conditioned, And people will come in and say, I want to build my own bouquet. I give them a jar or a bucket or something, and they will walk around, and they can get about 20, 25 stems and make a nice bouquet. We wrap it up for them, and they take it home.
Now, you were telling me during the break, and I am so all over this, you have subscriptions, like CSA flower boxes, so to speak.
We have a community-supported agriculture flower bouquet program. So we have a spring, which is 5 bouquets for $100. We have a frost to frost. So after the last frost until the first frost, we offer 12 bouquets, and I think that one's $225. We have a summer one, which is already passed. We're not going to do any more summer. And then we have the fall one coming up, which is 5 bouquets for $100. So you call, and we get you set up. You can either pick up on a Tuesday afternoon or a Friday afternoon. You come to the market building, you come inside and say, I'm here for my subscription, and we'll show you what's available, and you'll pick a bouquet, and off you go.
And it's perfect. And I love it, too, because it's local.
Yeah.
I know where it was grown. I now know who actually grew it. And I get to have this little bit of happy sitting on my outdoor table, on my kitchen table, even in the bedroom on the dresser, just to kind of have the happy spread all over the house.
And those bouquets are fairly big, so you could break them down and, make a couple of bouquets if you wanted.
Oh, no, I want one everywhere. I'll just get one of each and have one in all the other rooms.
That'd be great.
And then you just started this year. You mentioned a second ago that you were trying a bunch of new stuff. One of the new things is having bouquets available at some of the local businesses in Front Royal and Warren County.
We're very excited about this because we didn't know whether it would take or not. We started with the Giving Tree in Linden, and that was great during the cooler weather. They took a lot of tulips from us, and they were able to turn them over on a weekend because a lot of tourists come out here and they grab some flowers if they're going to somebody's house for dinner or whatever, and that worked really well. And we thought, okay, well, if we can do it there, then maybe we could continue that and do it a few other places. So Happy Creek
Coffee and
Tea has some. Divine Beauty Beauty Shop has some. Blake and Company has some, and also a Blue Wing Frog right now.
Nice. And that makes it really nice because if somebody doesn't want to come out to Rockland, or it's somebody who is in town on vacation that wouldn't have even known you were here,
right,
they can pick something up and take it back to their hotel or even take it home with them on their way out of town.
Exactly. We do try to pick on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and we go to local florists and see if they want any. And so they have been taking flowers from us, and that's been very exciting for us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what are your hours that you're open here for the public to come?
The public can come on Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday from 8:30 to noon.
Earlier the better, because the flowers are happier in the morning than they are.
Yeah, we probably should even open earlier, but we're testing these hours to see how it's going to work. But yeah, the earlier you can get out there before that sun gets up and the heat hits, the more likely your flowers are going to last longer. But when you do come in with your flowers, we talk about what you need to do, how you need to condition them, and then we also give you a little flower food. Although some flower farmers don't use flower food, we don't normally use it too much in the market, but we do offer it to folks who come out.
And I think that's just like a security blanket to a lot of us. We've been getting them with the little bouquets that come delivery for so long that we feel like, well, it has to have something.
You know, Amy and I have spent the last 9 months getting a master's degree on YouTube about how to care for different types of flowers. And what we've recently found out is that when you get those little envelopes of flower food, you just sprinkle a little bit. It's like a salt shaker. Don't dump the whole package in, because that's supposed to last you the lifetime of the flowers. And you really need to take those flowers out every couple of days. Wash your vase, recut them, add a little more of the special seasoning, and then they'll last you longer.
Now, in the market here, you talked a little while ago about your husband and some of his craft. You've got a couple of other things that people can pick up from local artists and local people here.
That's true. We have some artisan soaps. A woman in town makes them for us, and actually she has offered a soap class out here. We had a soap class for a small group. You can see the building is a nice size, but it is small. And so we've done a floral design class. We've had one of the local florists come out and do that for us. Don Marshall at Donahoe's Whimsical Flowers did that one. And I'm in discussions with the other two florists that we go visit, which is the Floral Center over in Stevens City, and then Katie is the new owner of Fussels, and so we've been talking to her about maybe having her come out and do a guest floral design for us. Now, nothing is set up with those two yet, but we're in discussions.
Hey, flowers are having a moment.
They are. We need some happiness right now.
I think, I always wonder if there are some things that now people have a new appreciation for that had it not been for the pandemic,
Right.
probably still wouldn't really be as big of a deal as we are now finding them.
Right. Being out here on the farm, you can spread out. It's a lot of space, and you're not on top of each other. They would almost line up for me. I'd have one group in the market, another on the porch waiting to come in, and then we would do like a little circle here to get them in and out of the markets.
So where can people get more information? Start with if they want to book the house as an Airbnb.
So you would go to Airbnb and search for the farm at Clover Hill. That's the easiest way to get to us. Or you can just in your Google search put in the farm at Clover Hill. Cloverhill.farm is our tagline. On Facebook, it's the farm at Clover Hill VA. Same on Instagram. And so those are the ways, the 3 or 4 different ways you can get a hold of us.
And I'm going to put pictures on all of those things so that people can see everything that I'm walking away with today.
Good.
Thank you so much, Susie, for taking some time to chat with me, and let me just sit in the happy for a little while.
You're welcome.
I will be back tomorrow. It is Tourism Tuesday, and tomorrow is the Barns of Rose Hill. I am actually heading over there before the weekend to record their radio show, but you'll get to hear it on the air tomorrow just a few minutes after noon, so meet me back here then.